Let's get more on wellness tourism with travel expert Mark Murphy. Mark, thanks for joining us. Good to see you again.
You too.
So this notion of wellness tourism, I mean, it's evolved well beyond the idea of going to the spa or a health farm.
Right.
How would you define it now?
Well, it's hard to define because, you know, the way they looked at it before was you'd go to Canyon Ranch and you would get some treatments and you would relax and you would eat healthy food, and that was the experience. Well, those organizations, as well as literally everybody out there, is getting in on the game. So for instance, a good way to describe it is where you can marry adrenaline with Zen, right? It's a great description because you can take a wellness trip that has adventure travel elements. You can go surfing, you can go skydiving, you can get that adrenaline rush, but then you come back and you get that pampering edge as well. And that's why it's very difficult to define, because you can have one piece of the wellness side plus the adventure.
But what about the component of spiritual development, if you will, something for the soul, which sort of works into the whole idea of yoga and the Indian trips?
Yes.
The ashrams.
So you have that, or you can go down to Mexico and do, I think it's called Temazcal, where you sit in a igloo-like structure and you have a shaman that chants and the steam and everything else, and you're supposed to connect with this spirituality. And so that experience, again, it's about immersing yourself in that experience and having something that is so unique, but that heals you on the inside and spiritually, not just physically, which a lot of the places will do that as well. So
Mark,
it's very neat.
We're looking at spiritual enlightenment, physical betterment. We've also got the component of adrenaline and adventure. This sounds like it's a very complicated package to organize, not something you're going to get on hotels.com. Is this leading to the comeback of travel agents?
Interesting you say that. Yes, travel agents really never went away because they have sold.
Well, they seem to have dwindled drastically with websites.
So what ended up happening was a lot of travel agents moved their business home. So they're personal concierge. A lot of them deal in this type of market where it's complicated trips, luxury travel, and they take care of the customer from start to finish, and they put together all of those components. What's great about travel agents is they deal with the suppliers, and they sell thousands and thousands, millions and tens of millions of consumers, so they get the feedback from them, and they can match you with the right product. So number one, are they back? Yeah, in a big way. The revenues have doubled since the trial of 2009 and the financial crisis, doubled. Coming out of the financial crisis, they were the fastest growing segment of travel distribution, which blows people's minds because everybody was thinking online, online, online. You'll notice that if you look at the numbers from the various OTAs or online travel agencies, the vast majority of their profits come from a single source: hotels. Margin is there. They're very fragmented in terms of a distribution. They don't get the high yield or complicated bookings at those websites because they're just not the type of trip you can actually book yourself online. So you nailed it on the head. You're right on it.
Well, you do need that expertise. Now, this is a growing industry, $500 billion industry, according to SRI International, and it's grown about 13% since 2012. So what is driving this?
Well, think about the makeup, in particular in America. So you've got 80 million baby boomers. They control more than 50% of the wealth. They have done sit on the beach, drink the margarita, all of that, the cruises, and now they're looking, as they age, they want to engage in something that's unique. So it started out with something that was termed bragging rights, going somewhere and doing something that no one else has done. Now it's about that spiritual connection, because as we age, we think about the next step for us, and they want to make that connection. So I think that's a big part of it. But then you have 110 million millennials, you know, separated by another.
So those are the two demographics that it's appealing to, but singles, not a family fun type of
Correct. I think a lot of what we're talking about with wellness travel is where you connect on your own. You can certainly go with a loved one, what have you, but mostly people are going and they want to experience this on their own because they want to make that spiritual connection. It's hard to do with a family of 4 kids hanging out.
You just want some peace and
My
quiet
spiritual connection there is going to be insane.
That's going to interfere with the connection for sure. Now, how are your hotels responding to this? The Marriott, the Starwoods, how are they incorporating this need for holistic development into their industry?
Well, I think you see it in how they design the rooms. They try to make them clutter-free. They try to make them more cleaner lines. They try to create that feeling when you walk in like a feng shui. And then you turn around and you say, okay, what else do they do? Well, then they bring in other services. They actually go out and they spend a fortune on, especially in the higher-end hotels, on different scents to elicit different feelings. You know, there's so many aspects that you don't see going on behind the scenes. and you walk into, let's say, the Mandarin Oriental, and there's this unbelievable scent.
Oh, like, I'm a big one to pick up.
I want that. I want that in my house. And, you know, it's top secret. Forget it.
So it's certainly an all-encompassing experience. Very quickly, what are the hottest hotspots at the moment for wellness tourism?
Well, there are a lot of them, right? So you can go to places like India is big. You're talking about yoga. India is the biggest out there. Then you have places like where you can go to a place like Thailand. You go down to Mexico and you have that shaman experience. You can go to Ecuador. I was offered a shaman experience with the local witch doctor in the Amazon.
Right.
And I
Sounds
thought,
like fun.
yeah, I thought, you know what? I got guys with cameras. I don't know if, you know, drinking this hallucinogenic and chanting is a great idea right now for my brand.
Could put you in a bit of a compromising position.
It's called bribes and extortion.
All right, well, I'd sign up for that minus the cameras. Right, thanks so much, travel expert Mark Murphy.